Welcome to another Vectra AI product briefing. Today we have Mr. Brad Woodberg, our Senior Director of Product Management here at Vectra AI, and we are going to talk about some new enhancements we've made to our detection, specifically around JA4. So thank you, Brad, for joining us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So let's get into it here. So Brad, just for those who are not familiar with JA4, can you give us, a brief summary of explaining what it is and how it helps, with our network detections?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the problem that it solves. So this was actually created by originally the JA3 framework, which is the predecessor of JA4, was created by some engineers at Salesforce. And basically, they're trying to identify, is the same client connecting to to the Salesforce infrastructure at the time, even if they were changing up different aspects of the connection, usernames, things like that, because they were looking for different forms of fraud and abuse. And so they built a hashing technique called JA3, which is a little bit like MD5, but for looking at SSL transactions. And similar to MD5, there's improvements that could be made, and so now you can kind of think of JA4 as being the vastly superior SHA-256. The JA3 folks formed their own company and built this new fingerprinting suite called JA4. JA4 and JA4S are two of the fingerprints which we just released in our 9.3 release, which came out I think it was August 13th. And then we're going to be adding a bunch more as well. But essentially what this is, and I'll show you in a demo in just a moment, is it's a superior way to basically fingerprint clients, regardless of if the attacker is trying to change different attributes, if they change their IP address, maybe if they change some of the underlying connectivity information, we're still able to identify this given user, this given application, which is really powerful. It's powerful for detection purposes. It's also really powerful for investigation purposes, because folks can come up with lists of JA4, JA4S, and other hashes that you can use to hunt for malicious activity in your data set. So, we've had JA3 for several years, but the challenge around JA3 is that, as you'll see when I go to my demo, it's a unidirectional hash or unidimensional hash. So it only looks, it kind of has one dimension to it. JA4 is far more flexible, and what that means is it's less evasion prone, it's more evasion resistant, and it gives extensibility. So as the JA4 folks develop more and more angles to these transactions, it makes it harder and harder for attackers. So this is really, really valuable for anyone who's a threat hunter out there, for sure.
Yeah. I just want to echo a point that you made. I think it is really important to call out that this will obviously help with threat hunting, and specifically for encrypted traffic analysis. So just not just detecting them, but like you said, investigating and threat hunting activities. So it really helps the overall SOC workflow. So that's really important. Cool.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to switch it over to you so you can, let us see it in action here in the Vectra AI platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first place that we're releasing this is in our advanced investigations. We are going to be rolling this out to other portions of the product, so stay tuned to our Hunt Club podcast, and we'll share more information on that. But if you look here, we can see this is just additional fields. Specifically, JA4, JA4S is in the SSL metadata stream, but again, there'll be some more different forms of hashes that we'll be announcing in probably next month and the month after. That'll be in some of the other data streams. So we can see JA3 and JA3S. JA3 is for the client side, and JA3S is on the server side. And JA4 is pretty similar. You have JA4, which is client, and JA4S, which is going to be the server. Now, what I was talking about earlier when I say that JA3 is a unidimensional hash, you can see here it's just one long string. Again, kind of similar to what you'd see with like MD5. but JA4S is broken down into several different sections. Now, I'm not going to get into on this call exactly what those different sections are. You're welcome to go check the JA4 documentation, but they have significance. So, for instance, T means TCP, 1.3 means it's TLS 1.3, D means that's domain, and so on and so on. So it actually has relevance here. So even if the attacker is trying to change their IP address or change underlying portions of the application that they're running, it makes it really hard to evade being caught. And so, you can see this one is T13, but this one here is T12, meaning it's TLS 1.2, etc. So at the end of the day, you don't need to necessarily understand all these. You're welcome to go, there's a good explainer on it. But the main thing is that there's databases online that you can do lookups against. And so, attackers, or let's say, this may show up in blogs that we write, blogs that other threat researchers write. We're also going to be in the future doing other enrichments here, so we can actually tell you more about like what is this known to be as an application with JA4. And again, the big advantage here is that JA4 is far more evasion resistant and scalable than JA3, and that there's also going to be additional JA4 fingerprints that we're going to be coming out. So we'll definitely talk more about what those are. JA4, JA4S are kind of the two most popular, but there's going to be a number of other ones that'll be really useful for threat hunting and detection purposes.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad. You know, as you mentioned, we're continuing to innovate, so we're going to expand on this. And if there's any questions or topics or anything at all, feel free to comment in our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, wherever you find us on our media profiles, on our website. And again, thank you, Brad, for joining us for another podcast.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.